Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Kerry, the nosy housefrau, and today I'm sticking my nose in on an H3 podcast that I caught yesterday. As you know, I lurk on the interwebs, sometimes for homework, sometimes just because I'm good at it. So I caught this conversation and I think I have something to add to it. So if you don't know, Hila and Ethan Klein run a successful podcast. I think they have about 3 channels. H3 Podcasts had the original video, KSI Destroys Logan Paul. I saw the highlighted version first, which was on their H3 Podcast Highlights channel, and I will link both of those videos below. There's also one called H3 Productions. So it's H3 Podcast, H3 Productions, which is like 6 million subscribers, and then the highlights, H3 Podcast Highlights. So the title was Hila Accuses Ethan of Cheating, I believe. I will link that, put that above here so you can see it. And I think that I add something interesting to the conversation because I couldn't believe that no guy was siding with Ethan. There's my position right up front for you. What happened was a guy on the show, I believe his name is Dan, got a letter from a fan, you could say. And while he's going through things to make relevant for the show, he kind of skipped over it. And they said, whoa, what did you not show us? It turned out it was a girl who said, if Dan is ever the Bachelor, I think he's attractive, etc. And Dan is in a new relationship. And of course, didn't even look at it, supposedly. I believe him. But here's the thing. Ethan admitted truthfully that he would be curious to look at that. And that did not sit well with Hila, who said, I think that's a problem. And I understand, as a woman, where she's coming from. Because, let's face it, if a woman was interested in looking at a picture of a man, or if a man told you he was interested in you, and you click on it, that's very different than what it is for a man. For a woman, it would be like, oh, well, see you on the booze cruise. Smoke Cheetos responsibly. I'm down to a pack a day. Maybe Frito-Lay makes a patch. Anyway, Ethan very truthfully admitted that if somebody told him they thought he was attractive, he'd be curious to click on the link and see what she looked like. His wife didn't like that. And again, I think she's looking at this from the perspective of a woman. And something I want to share with everyone. Now, as you know, I'm 51. I don't look a day over 50 and a half, but I've been married for about 100 years or so. And something I learned very early on in life, possibly even before I was married, maybe in the first year, they have not invented a man on this planet who will fantasize about only you. That's not infidelity. Something you have to understand about men, because they are from Mars, let's face it. We're from Venus, ladies. The thing about men is they're visual creatures. And when they commit, their commitment means so much to them. Their self-worth, their identity, everything about them is wrapped up in their commitment. Once a man really commits, very often you'll find that every fiber of his being depends on that commitment. My husband is one of those men who really values his commitment. When he puts out the garbage, that's part of being married. That's part of him being a family man. When he goes to work, he's being a family man. Now, does that mean that because my husband loves me, I am the only woman he'll ever think of? No, and you know what? I hope not. That would be very sad. What a boring world it would be. Now, here's what I'm trying to get at. Let him look, ladies. Let him look. Because it doesn't matter who gets the motor started. As long as you're the one going for the... I cannot come up with a decent reference. I'm not a professional, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. So, your husband is attracted to you as a woman. Does that mean that you have this essence about your womanhood, your parts are so special that they're the only ones he could ever think of? No, and that's okay, is what I'm saying. You don't want a guy to feel neutered, right? Let him look. He's coming home to you. He's committed to you. I think what Hila is doing is looking at it from her own perspective. Women, we're not visual the way men are. So if a man slips in our DMs like, do you want a sugar daddy? We don't care what he looks like. Click off, he's probably catfishing anyway. I got the impression that Ethan, although very, very happy with his wife, would just be curious. What kind of girl would find me attractive? Now, if he clicks on it, he said there's no benefit to that, but he's just curious. There is a benefit to that. I think he's not thinking of it fully. It would feed his ego if it was an attractive woman, wouldn't it? He'd be like, really? You're attracted to me? Thank you. And he would feel nice about that. And a man feeling good about himself is good for you too. It doesn't mean that he has been infidelitous to you. And I think if you think about it, your partner at times might be in a mood, and it's because of something they saw. Maybe they watched a movie. Maybe they saw something that just kind of triggered their mind and got them in a good mood, and they're going to share that good mood with you. It's really okay. That is not infidelity. Infidelity would be not just being with someone else, but being tempted or thinking about it or interacting with that person. That's infidelity. Beyond thank you, no. So I think it's a little too rigid to say that your husband can't even look at another person, especially when it's something as innocent as he just wanted to see who'd be attracted to him. Let him feed his ego a little bit. You feed it too. Say, oh, she's attractive and she likes you. Well, I guess we both have good taste. What would be so wrong with that? That's not being polyamorous by any means. You still have a monogamous relationship. And it really bothered me that men who should understand where a man is coming from had no support of him whatsoever. They're in brand new relationships. So they're doing that brand new relationship thing like, what? No, I'm a eunuch when it comes to anybody but the person I'm with. You're lying. You're a liar. And I really hope that everybody gets in these healthy relationships that aren't about being so possessive that you want the man in your life or the woman in your life, whomever has this issue. You don't want that person to just have blinders. It's not an insult. My husband and I have a joke. Remember that movie Vacation where Chevy Chase is in the pool with the model, Christy Brinkley? And later his wife is like, do you like her? And he goes, no, she's ugly. So whenever my husband or I see somebody attractive, we'll look at each other. I know he's looking to see if I'm looking, and I'll look to see if he's looking. But then we'll look at each other and go, he's ugly. Or he'll say, oh, she's ugly. They're not ugly. Well, if you've listened this far, I so appreciate you. As always, I will be shamelessly hawking all of my things below, my Teespring, my Patreon, and my P.O. Box, which I hope won't have cobwebs in it. Now that it's holiday season, we can do card exchanges, and I look forward to your thoughts. What do you think? Is it okay for your significant other to click on a link just to see who's interested in them, even if they have no intention of responding? Is that okay? Or do you think that's flying way too close to the danger zone? Do you think maybe even that it is highly infidelitous? And do we all think it's just Trisha Paytas in his inbox anyway? Let me know your thoughts below. I look forward to the next time, which will be soon. Until then, Hausfrau out.